bit. Hello. We are live. I'm setting up the shot. My head's cut off. Alright. Backing the camera up. Hi. Welcome to another edition of Talk Stories Live. I'm your host, Seychelle. And we're going to be talking about some kettlebell exercises today and actually doing them together. So while I wait for a few of you to sign on, just let me know in the comments, where you're tuning in from, whether or not you're going to be able to play along today. If not, you can save this video for later. Either way, thanks so much for being here. And if you are going to play along, what you'll need is just a mat and a kettlebell or a dumbbell or maybe a couple different options of weight if you have that. And so if you're going to gather those things now, great. And while we're waiting, just a little disclaimer, a couple of disclaimers. So please, I am a certified personal trainer. However, I'm not, please, what do they say? Please consult your doctor or sports therapist if you have any concerns about performing these exercises. I also am performing this here in my garage. I'm not watching you. I don't have eyes on you. I don't know what it looks like. A couple of things that I do recommend to help with that is, especially if these are new things, put up a mirror and watch yourself and how you're moving. Since I can't have eyes on you, you can have eyes on yourself. So please be mindful. Please use a very light weight, especially if you're learning and when you're warming up, or no weight at all. And if something hurts, please stop immediately and, then maybe reach out to me and let me know what it was and see if I can help you with that. So that being said, let's all be smart, safe, and have fun together doing a few of my favorite kettlebell exercises. And I'll talk a little bit while I'm performing them with you about why and how they're good for paddlers and what I'm thinking about while I'm doing them. That's helping me with my strength and my stroke. Does that make sense? Is that all clear? Is that good? Do we have any thumbs up? Okay, we've got 4 thumbs up. Cool. Wonderful. All right, so let's warm up. Grab a light kettlebell or no kettlebell. Yeah, you can see my whole body. Great. Actually, sorry, no kettlebells to begin with. We're going to warm up our hip hinge. I've done a whole segment on hip hinging, so I'm going to go through it really quickly. Semi-quickly, but I've done a whole section on it, so if this is something that's new to you, please go ahead and watch the whole section on hip hinging for paddlers. But feet are going to be parallel, right underneath, hip distance apart. And you're going to draw the hips back, bending the knees and hinging at the hips. And so hinging is a way that we are lowering our body down while maintaining a neutral spine. So my spine, I'm not rounding anywhere in my back, upper or lower back. I'm not arching anywhere in my back. I'm maintaining this nice neutral spine, and the upper body's lowering down as the hips pull back. Weight stays equal in the feet, in the heels, nice and balanced, and I have a nice tap. I'm drawing everything in towards my belly button, up and in and down to maintain that stable core, and that's going to help me maintain a neutral spine. So we're going to do several hip hinges going. The more you bend your knees, the lower you're going to go. And again, this is a great one to watch yourself in the mirror and watch how your legs are moving and watch if you're maintaining a neutral spine as you lower down. This is a really great warm-up for almost every strength exercise and every paddle session that I do, because if this is training that primary muscle movement, especially that lowering and lifting the body back up that we're doing with a stable core, neutral spine. So, warming up with our hinges. Grab a light kettlebell. This one looks heavy, but it's actually really light. It just looks heavier than it is. We're gonna do some halo, so we're gonna warm up a little bit in the upper body and the shoulders. So you're gonna grab it and hold up underneath your chin, shoulders back, down, and wide apart. Back of the neck is long. And again, neutral spine, so pulling everything up and in towards the belly button. And what you're gonna do as the kettlebell halos around the back of your head and back to the front is watch and see, are you arching your back? Are you jutting your head forward? You want to maintain that back of the neck long, neutral spine. There's no forward or back movement of the body. This is a big range of motion for the shoulders. If you can't do this with weight, you can just grab and pretend like you're holding a weight. And go ahead and bring the hands in like a sphere. Around, core tight, not leaning forward or back. And you're going to do about 8 in each direction. Relax your jaw, relax your neck, relax your shoulders. Cool. So, core should be turned on. Should be feeling that. And we've done a little bit of lengthening and activating in the back of the legs. So we're gonna grab still a lighter dumbbell. So those are 2 great warm-ups, just the hip hinge and the kettlebell halo. And then I'm gonna show you 3, or depending on the time, maybe 4 of my favorite go-to kettlebell exercises once I'm warmed up. And the first one is the Romanian deadlift. So I'm gonna set up in the same way for the hip hinge, and actually it's exactly the same as the hip hinge, but I'm adding weight. So feet are hip distance apart, parallel, and if you have a hard time activating the backs of the legs, go ahead and, or actually everybody can do this anyways, you're gonna root down into your feet and pretend like you're spreading the floor apart. There's a bunch of things you can do here. I did a whole talk on activating the legs too, so that's a good one. If you're like, I feel this in my back, or I don't feel this in the backs of the legs, I don't feel this in the glutes, go ahead and come on, shrug. I'm outside in my garage and the door's open. So, go ahead and watch that whole talk that I did on activating the legs. So, set up here, and you're going to keep the chest up, keep the back of the neck long, keep the core stabilized and the spine neutral as you draw the hips back, bending in the knees, lowering down to about shin height, and then pressing through the heels, using the large muscles in the backs of the legs to come back up. So the weight's just sliding down the front of the legs and back up. You're just going as low as you can while maintaining a perfectly neutral spine. And so these, once you've done about 8 to 12 with your light weight, you would slowly increase the weight depending on what type of workout you're doing, how many reps, sets, what weights you have at home. I only have 2 kettlebells at home, so I make my workouts based off of the weights that I have. And a couple of variations on this, you can go a little bit heavier. If you're picking your kettlebell up from the ground, you're going to be about a foot behind it, and you're going to go down into your hinge, and you're going to neutral spine, tight core, backs of the legs. Pick it up like this. Pick it up like you're like the exact up motion of that Romanian deadlift. So variations, You've seen me do ones that are single legs. So these are a couple of my favorite ones. So we're just going to go through about one set of warm-up and one set of maybe a little heavier weight if you have it. If you don't have kettlebells and you're using dumbbells, you guys can probably figure this out, but you could do one dumbbell, or you could do two. So if you want to add the breath, it's inhaling down, squeezing on the exhaling, coming up. Cool. So that's a Romanian deadlift with a kettlebell. And then, of course, we're going to do kettlebell swings. I'm going to pause for 1 second. Any questions? Cool. Yes, Noah, this is going to stay up for later. Yes. Great way to activate hips and booties. Get ready to paddle. Yay, yay, yay. Good comments and questions. So I'll keep checking those intermittently. So the next one, of course, is the kettlebell swing. I'm going to start with my lighter kettlebell. And I'm going to take a different stance for this one. So hold on. Set up your stance first. You're going to be about a foot behind your kettlebell that you're getting ready to pick up. And your feet are going to be wider than shoulder width. Like you're setting up to take a squat. And I have long legs, but I also go a little bit wider on squats and kettlebell swings. Like I'm not like this shoulder, I get a little wider than shoulder width. And the toes are pointed out just slightly. Again, you're going to sort of try and spread the floor away from you, spread the floor underneath your feet, draw the heels away from each other. And tight core, neutral spine, chest up, back of the neck long. Go down into your hinge with this wide leg position and grab your kettlebell. Go ahead and stand up. And I always do a little bit of a warm-up swing. So you're going to go down like you're going into your Romanian deadlift position, and then it's an explosive up. And so I'm trying to do these in slow motion, but the down portion is just like you're in that Romanian deadlift, except for the kettlebell swings just behind your legs. Neutral spine, chest up, back of the neck long, and you're going to hip thrust. And you're gonna end shoulder height, and you're gonna slow down, come back. So let me show you what that looks like in real time. Okay, so a couple of things that I see are people going too low on their down, and so watch that you're maintaining that neutral spine on your down, and you're really exploding the hip thrust on the way up. And then the way that I really think that this is super helpful for paddlers is what I'm thinking about or feeling in my body is the lat activation. So the backs of the legs and the hips are this movement drive here, this thrust here, and that's going to help you so much with the thrust on your paddle stroke. But what's super key is this connection from upper body to lower body, because just like paddling, the kettlebell swing is a complex full body movement. So how am I connecting the upper body to the lower body is in the lat activation. So you're going to grab your kettlebell and you're going to draw the shoulders back down and wide apart. And you're going to, just like I've explained to you when you're paddling, you're gonna draw the elbows down and feel the lats activate. And so there's gonna be a slight bend. I can see there's just a slight bend in the arm, and the lat is super active. And you're gonna maintain that as you come up to shoulder height. You'll feel the lats. And then you're gonna control and slow down. And you're gonna maintain that lat activation throughout the movement. So slight drawing down of the elbows and in, ow, slight bend of the elbows so that the lats are really firing and working on the downward movement, and the legs are working on the upward movement. Is that making sense? I hope it's making sense. Cool. So that's a kettlebell swing and how I think it can be really helpful for paddlers. So, okay, cool. And these are like so basic, but it's like the basic and the simple, like simple is best. Simple doesn't mean easy, but simple is always the best. So, goblet squat. I'm gonna set up in the same way that I set up for my kettlebell swing, hips wider than shoulder, with a very slight outward turning of the toes. I'm gonna anchor with an outward isometric contraction, and I'm going to send the hips back as the knees bend, and instead of stopping here, I'm going to keep going all the way down until the hips are parallel with the knees. But I'm going to maintain that nice neutral spine. And so that's a squat, and a goblet squat is just adding your kettlebell, holding it underneath your chin, shoulders back down wide apart, back of the neck long, so I'm not grabbing here, and I'm not grounding in my upper back here. I'm keeping this all open and up, and this is helpful for paddlers because I see this a lot when we're paddling. We go here, and we get rounded, and we get tight, and really if I can keep this open, keep the chest up, keep the rib cage wide, I can take nice, full, complete breaths. I want to be able to do that in this movement too. So I've got the kettlebell under my chin, in my stance, and I'm going to send the hips back so spine stays neutral, and then down, hips, knees are right over my toes, and thighs are parallel to the ground. I'm going to press into the heels, I'm going to squeeze the butt, I'm going to come up. So if you're not able, come down as far as you can while maintaining a neutral spine. If you get here, and then to come down the rest of the way, you have to, either round or arch a lot in your back, in either the upper or lower back. Just go as low as you can before that happens. And as you develop mobility, that'll happen. So, I've done mobility talk stories too, and one that was just on the hips. So, spread the floor apart, knees push wide, hips draw back, chest up, and press into the heels, squeeze the butt, come up. So these are goblet squats. I hope you guys are just like doing reps and reps and reps while I'm talking. So you're actually getting a workout, because I'm only, like I said, we're just gonna do one set of each. And if you wanna do a whole workout, go ahead and do like 3 or more sets of these exercises in a circuit. That's a really simple, easy, fun workout that you can just do with a kettlebell. Again, if you have a dumbbell, forgot to say on the swings, you can do your swings with a single dumbbell, and you can do your swings with a little bit more difficulty, but you can do your swings with 2 dumbbells. These ones are a little bit heavy for me to do a double kettlebell swing with. Same thing with the goblet squat. You can hold it here, just balancing on the collarbone, but being held by the elbows drawing down, the lats active, back of the neck long, chest open. And here. So those would be the dumbbell modifications. Cool. Let me check again for your questions, your comments. Hello, Mel, Amy, Noah, Christian. I got a bunch of thumbs up. Great. So before we close out, like I said, I just wanted to keep it super simple. Those were 3 exercises and 2 warm-ups that you could do as a circuit. And if you are looking for more, I write training programs, and in strength training and these types of circuit workouts and kettlebell workouts are included in your program. So if you are looking for like, well, how would I put this into a workout, or what are more workouts, reach out, let me know. Maybe I can help you out with that. And then a couple other announcements I wanted to make sure that you're on my mailing list so that you're not just relying on social media to get notified of when I have talk stories or upcoming events and retreats. I do have 2 clinics in person in Florida, one in February, one in March. And then I have 3 retreats next year, and early bird pricing is coming up for 2 of them. So yeah, thank you so much for being here, for practicing some kettlebell skills and exercises with me, and reach out. I'd love to hear your questions. I'd love to hear what else you want to hear about, and maybe I'd love to work with you on paddle and strength training in 2023. So have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. Thank you to SIC. Thank you to SIC for having this space and having me here to do these talk stories with you. Oh, I got a question. Christian's asking where in Florida are the clinics? They are in Melbourne and Stewart, Florida, Melbourne. Yeah. You're welcome, Melissa. As always, I hope this is helpful. Ciao.